Clubhouse.
The cooking class.
What it do, what it do? Welcome back to Good Shape University Podcast, man. I am your host, PLAYA the Mayor, and we got a special show today. I know I say that every time, but this one is special to me because it's one of my player partners, man. Super producer, man. One of the producer legends from Southwest Georgia, and he elevated his game, bro. I watched his growth. I watched him work with artists from like Swayze, Blood Raw, China Monet, Baby Fendi, Juvenile, Travis Porter, Young Turk, Trouble, K-Camp, Rubber Band OG, the list goes on. I got my guy in the building, Josh. Right? I'm gonna call you Josh, but you go by Josh, produced by Josh.
Josh did that.
No, Josh did that. I always say produced
call me
by
Josh. Like you my partner, so you call me Josh, bro.
Josh, but
producer name Josh did that.
Josh did that, man. Bro, like you did a lot. And your span, we was talking outside of the cameras, bro, and you put me on something that I didn't know. You started at 12.
Yeah, well, actually, I was 11 going on 12. Like, before I got into music, I was, big into sports.
Right.
Coming from where I'm coming from, that's all we did, football, basketball, the whole nine. But I always had a pretty good ear for music and a love for music. So I felt like, this might be something I want to give a try. So back then I had like one of them big old IBM big back computers on a coffee table, bro. No keyboard, no nothing, but I had Fruity Loops.
Said the IBM. How old is you? Like, bro, you got an IBM?
It was back in them times, but that's what I started on. And when I got into it, being young, I don't really know nothing about nothing for real.
Right.
So I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to jump into it, just making hard beats right off the bat. It wasn't nothing like what I thought it was gonna be. So I probably messed around with it for about a couple months. I was like, nah, this ain't what I thought. So I quit. I was like, nah, this ain't nothing. I'm just gonna keep on playing sports.
Now hold on, before we get too far, like 11, 12, for the people that don't know, like, where you originally from? I'm
originally from Cordell, Georgia, by way of Harvey, Georgia.
Shout out to that.
So Cordell is the main city. Harvey is on the outskirts, but I got a set of grandparents in Harvey, a set of grandparents in Cordell, and of course Harvey don't have a school, so I went to school in Cordell. So it's like a mixture of both. In Harvey like 15 minutes away from Cordell, so it's really like right there.
So what was your, like, that being a small town, Cordell, what was like the music influences that you came? Was it somebody from the hood, or you had that music in your mom, dad, what it was?
Well, it was a mixture of a little bit of both. My grandparents raised me for the most part. So my grandparents was always listening to like old school music, Isley Brothers and things of that nature. So I really didn't even get into rap music until a little bit later when I finally moved with my parents. My parents were young, they was in college. So I stayed with my grandmama and them. So basically, I feel like that's where the love for music for me started. Just being around my grandmama. My granddaddy, they always playing old school music, so I'm like, okay, this kind of cool. So I guess I was always intrigued by just music itself, because they really didn't watch too much TV. It was just always music playing all day, every day. So that's what I got accustomed to. And I was the only child for like the first half of my life. So growing up when I was really a youngster, my friends, but my granddaddy was like my boy.
You came with the old head.
Wherever granddaddy was at, I was at. So it was always some old school music of some sort being played. So that's really where the love of music for me came from. But the influence, I gotta give a shout out to my brother, Swayze.
Shout out Swayze,
if you're from South Georgia, Cordell, surrounding areas, I'm sure you know who that is. Between Swayze and another South Georgia legend, Get Cool. My uncle actually took me to Get Cool's house. I probably was about maybe 9, 10 years old at that time. He had a studio set up in his crib. And my uncle just, we went there, Get Cool, let me sit in there and just watch the session. And I was just blown away by the fact that knowing that a person can sit down and really create music for real.
And see, that was what I was gonna ask you, like, a lot of cats, man, coming from the small towns, like, it's sports or it's driving trucks. Like, you know, you got to be from the country to understand. Like, that's what we grow up looking for. Because, like, I came up around a lot of old heads. So, for you to be like, I ain't going to do the sports. I could be a rapper with that third. Now, I want to produce the music. That came from Get Cool.
Yeah, like, he was the one that made me feel like it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Because coming from where we come from, especially at that time, wasn't too many people doing it. But he was actually, you know, he had a lot of motion even back then. So I'm like, okay, this can really be brought to life. So after I left his house that day, that's when I made up in my mind, I think I want to do what he was in there doing, producing, making beats and whatnot. So that's basically where it came from. And then from that point on, I was like, because like I said, I was big in sports, so I played football, basketball. Baseball was actually my best sport. I could have got a scholarship. I could have got a scholarship in baseball, like, but it was just something about the music. I was like, nah, like sports is cool, but I think this is gonna be it for me, music. So I stopped playing sports and I just focused on music full time.
You remember your first beat?
I do. Matter of fact, I still got a beat CD at the crib right now. There's like 30 beats on it. The first beats I ever made, and they sound terrible.
Hey, I was finna ask you, it's almost you go back and listen to it and be like, God.
I look at it. I look at the CD just to know I've been doing it for a minute, but I don't really want to hear it.
Like a lot of people, and you mentioned Get Cool, and really like, bro, Get Cool is a. If you know, you know, but Get Cool is that guy.
Right. No, he really is.
He like, really is that guy. So you was hands on. Like, I have yet to meet him. I heard about him and like, he an icon to me.
For sure.
Just off of me hearing about him from my partners and then, you know, like looking at what he did for the industry. But you was like, as a jit.
Yeah. See, the thing about it is a lot of people don't know this, but behind the scenes, Get Cool has been somewhat of an advisor to me, like, over the years. Like, he always showed me a lot of love, always embraced me. And I always looked at him as like an OG or like a big brother or something like that. So, Get Cool, I owe a lot of credit to him. Him and Swayze, but Get Cool just really giving me the opportunity to see a studio session firsthand. Like I said, I'm young, bro. I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm just sitting there, I see the mix board, keyboard, speakers, all that. So I'm in there like a kid in a candy store. So I'm forever grateful that he let me just sit in on that because he didn't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because some people be, you know what I'm saying, when you in that creative process, you don't want just anybody in the room or whatever the case may be. But nah, he never did, you know what I'm saying, shut me out. Like, he always welcomed me with open arms. Whenever called and texted, hit him up on social media with questions. He never shied away from answering questions, giving up game, resources, whatever the case may be. So I owe a lot of my, you know, the progress I've made thus far to him because he taught me a lot, whether he know it or not. Yeah. But yeah, he taught me a lot.
How does it feel though? Because like, you going from, and I know how the studios used to be back then to
now?
To how the studios is now. It's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, to me, bro, just give me a computer and a keyboard, bro. I really don't care if it's some state of the art or some raggedy equipment, bro. If it work and I need to get the job done, then I don't care what, if it's, you know, state of the art or old. As long as it work and I can get the job done, I'm with it.
Now, a lot of producers, especially you mentioned the keyboard, like, was that something, and I know I talked to a lot of producers, like a lot of them learn how to play the keys in church. Was that something that you did, or was it you just, you pretty much just went with the...
To be honest, I definitely was in the church a lot. Both of my grandmamas had us in church every time the doors were open down there. But I never was like, I never did play instruments like in the church. But a lot of people in my family did. Like, I got people in my family that play the piano, organ, guitar, singers, all that type of stuff. So I used to be around them a lot too. I'm like, dang, like, so between being around Get Cool, being around family members that were musically inclined, I just used to sit back and just watch. So by the time I did get like my first little keyboard, which I got my first keyboard from the Goodwill for like $10. Damn. It was like an old school Casio keyboard. And I just, you know, messed around with it. You know, even to this day, I'm not like a John Legend on the keys, but I can make it work.
But you know your way around the keys.
I can make it work if I need to, so yeah.
So now that we bump into Swayze, was Swayze one of the first artists you went like locked in with one-on-one
For
with an
sure.
artist?
Matter of fact, the first artist I ever heard on one of my beats was him. Cause like I said, well, I found out down the line that me and him actually blood cousins. Damn. So we related for real, but I didn't know that at first. I just, you know, growing up in Cordell, he was the guy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, whenever my beats get to a certain point, I want to work with him. So I had reached out to him on MySpace. This was the MySpace days. I was like, bro, I make beats. I want to see some beats. Matter of fact, he was making his own beats at the time. So when I stepped in the picture, that's when he kind of was like, shoot, I ain't got to make beats no more because I got you. So that's really how that happened. He was like, bro, just send me something. I sent him a couple beats. He had sent me a song back the same day, a song called Dream Girl. It was an R&B song that we did. And
so
like,
Swayze was on that shit back then.
Bro, Swayze is he really a R&B guy, bro. He just, you know, he can rap, but R&B is really his forte, if you ask me. Because that's why I kind of, you know, so I feel like I can make any kind of music, but I enjoy making R&B more than any other genre because that's kind of what he, like I was telling you off camera, you know, outside, like he kind of groomed me, so to speak, when it comes down to that, because he was doing R&B back then, so I'm like, shoot, I got to be able to be the best of both worlds. Because that particular beat was probably the first R&B beat I had ever made.
Well, did you make it to be an R&B beat, or did he?
No, I made it to be an R&B beat, but like I said, that was my first one. So I was kind of like, I don't know if he really gonna gravitate to that. I probably had sitting like 5 or 6. The other bunch was just straight rap. And that one was the only R&B one that was in that particular pack. And he said it right back. He was like, yeah, you might be on to something.
And I heard that though. Like, I heard Swayze was one of the guys that make his own beats, record himself, mix himself.
Oh yeah, he do everything, bro. Even to this day, if he need to, he can record himself.
That's crazy.
Everything. So he really like a one-stop shop. He a machine for real.
That's crazy.
He's a machine, yeah.
So once y'all knock out that R&B beat, what's his name? Dream Girl?
Yeah, Dream Girl. Then we did, shortly after, you may remember a song he had called Move Out the Way. He actually, that particular song was on the project he put out called Swag and a Pistol. He shot the video for it in Cordell. Matter of fact, this was around the time he had just got his deal. And
the deal was Slim Inside?
Right. So that was one of the first songs that they shot a video to once he had got his deal or whatnot. But yeah.
Now through that whole process, because I know, like, ever since I known you, you know, you always been like Swayze hit guy. Like a lot of his hits, I'm not gonna say all of them, but a lot of his hits came from a Josh did that beat.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what was your favorite hit? Or not your favorite hit, but your favorite song that you produced for Swayze?
My favorite Swayze song, that's a crazy question because I ain't never been asked that. I would probably have to say this was on, like, you know, I'm sure it's a lot of producers that work with, you know what I'm saying, like various artists, but if you got that one artist that really kind of lock in with and kind of take you under their wings, so to speak, and really help develop you as a producer, then
I really helped develop each other.
He
helped develop you as a producer. You helped develop him as an artist. You helped him find his, I ain't gonna say help him find his sound, but just get more confident and comfortable with that sound. So that's a win-win, man. Again, man, I really appreciate you, man. For the people that don't know, man, tell these folks how to contact you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of that.
But you on TikTok?
Yeah, I just made a TikTok.
You going to hell, you too.
Bro, I just made a TikTok.
I can't get with it, man. I don't know how to work it.
Bro, I'm still learning. It's way more complex than Instagram and all that, but I mean, a lot of people gravitate to it, so I use it for content, beat videos and whatnot. So, yeah, it's all that produced by Josh did that. That's where you can find me on pretty much all Twitter too. So, yeah.
Again, man, I appreciate you taking your time out here coming to fuck with me. We got a lot, like, the same love and respect you got for me, bro. I got that same love and respect for you times 10, bro.
For sure, bro.
I support you, man. We're going to keep rocking with you. Again, thank you for coming through Good Shake University, man. Look, man, y'all got to understand producers really play a major key behind what artists do.
For sure.
So next time you hear your favorite artist drop some shit, man, read the credits, bro. Read the credits, man. You might see my guy name on there. Shit, you might even see my name on there, man. I be writing stuff and, you know, nah, I'm bullshitting. But again, man, appreciate you for coming through, man. Shout out to everybody that's been tapping in, supporting what we got going on, man. This is Good Shape University, man. I'm your host, Big Player the Mayor, a.k.a. Good Shape Hunt Show. My dog, produced by Josh, did that, is in the building, man. We'll holler at y'all next week.